Great wars have a high likelihood of going beyond what is expected. You don't want to know how our world will be destroyed by the most destructive weapons in history if World War II had not added the atomic factor into the equation. If you like the story of war, we tell you the 10 biggest nuclear explosions in history. But first, please like and subscribe to this channel and then sit back and relax. More than 2,051 nuclear weapon tests have been carried out worldwide since the first one on July 15, 1945. Nuclear weapons are the only thing that truly exemplifies the utter destructive power that humanity has unlocked. And in the decades after that initial test, it is undeniable that the weapons rapidly grew more potent. The device put to the test that year, the US Trinity test, had a power of 20 kilotons, or the equivalent explosive force of 20,000 tons of TNT. The tower it was on was instantly vaporized, and the surrounding sand was transformed into green glass. A strong heat wave then swept across the desert. In contrast, the Hiroshima bomb is thought to have had about 15 kilotons of force. The US and USSR tested nuclear bombs with a destructive power greater than 10 megatons over 20 years as the Cold War heated up. These weapons were at least 500 times more powerful than the initial atomic bomb in terms of scale. Today, both the US and Russia possess thousands of nuclear weapons. But not only them, nuclear weapons are also in the possessions of China, France, the United Kingdom, India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel. There are worries that such nuclear weapons could be utilized as a result of Russia's ongoing invasions of Ukraine. The 10 largest nuclear explosions in history are visually compared in a chart by Visual Capitalists. There were numerous large explosions, according to documents from the US Department of Energy and the Russian Federation's Ministry of Defense. Even yet, only nuclear weapon detonations whose potency is known as included because the yields of a lot of them are unknown. These explosions are all considerably more powerful than the ones that ended World War II in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What happened during the explosion? Nuclear weapons detonate into enormous fireballs that produce a blinding glare and a wave of intense heat. The fireball grows larger as it rises like a hot air balloon, engulfing the surrounding air. The mushroom head structure is produced as the fireball and hot air rise and is flattened by cooler, denser air located high in the atmosphere. The fireball sends a shock wave outward at thousands of kilometers per hour, causing physical destruction at the base of the cloud. The stalk of the mushroom cloud is created by a powerful updraft of air and dust passing through the core of the cloud. Most nuclear explosions produce rings surrounding the cloud, also referred to as Wilson clouds. As a result of shifting atmospheric pressure and water condensation, the mushroom cloud disappears over time. However, it also leaves behind radioactive fallout in the form of nuclear debris, dust, and ash, which permanently alters the ecosystem in the area. The particles are light, thus wind frequently disperses them away from the detonation site. Nuclear explosion anatomy. A source aids in helping us comprehend the terrible true effects of a nuclear explosion by sizing up the enormity of the largest nuclear explosions in history. The fireball appears on the map as the initial ring of the explosion, followed by the radiation radius. Nearly all buildings are destroyed and casualties are very high in the pink radius. The strongest buildings within the gray radius would resist the blast, although injuries are almost ubiquitous. People with exposed flesh would sustain third-degree burns in the orange radius, and flammable things would catch fire. The 10 biggest nuclear explosions in history. 1. Tsar Bomba, 1961. The most lethal weapon ever tested by humanity, the mother of all bombs, marks the end of this gruesome list. Due to its huge burden, this bomb, also known as the Great Ivan, required special air transport. It was detonated on October 30, 1961 to show off the might of the Soviet Union. It had a power of 15 megatons, enough to destroy a city 55 kilometers away from the map and cause an earthquake of magnitude 5. Once more, a nuclear monster the size of 3,125 little boy, the bomb that obliterated Hiroshima, and 2,381 fat men, the bomb that obliterated Nagasaki, was born in the Novaya Zemlya archipelago. It was too heavy to be transported in a regular aircraft. Therefore, Tsar Bomba, also known as Big Ivan, required a specially constructed aircraft. To give the plane enough time to take off, the bomb was hooked to a massive parachute. About 6 times the height of a commercial airliner's flight, the Tsar Bomba mushroom cloud rose through the stratosphere to a height of more than 60 kilometers. 2. Soviet Test Number 219, 1962. Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Test Number 219 was an atmospheric nuclear test, with a weapon detonating 3.8 kilometers above sea level, with a yield of 24,200 kilotons and a 41-kilometer destructive radius. It was the second most powerful nuclear explosion ever. 3. Soviet Tests Number 147, Number 174, Number 173, 1962. In the number 2, 3, and 5, we have the Soviet test explosions as Number 147, Number 174, and Number 173 respectively. The Soviet Union carried out 78 nuclear tests in 1962, 3 of which resulted in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strongest explosions ever recorded. Each of the tests, Number 173, Number 174, and Number 147, gave a result of around 20,000 kilotons. 6. Castle Bravo, 1954. It was unintentionally the most potent nuclear weapon the USS ever detonated because it was the first in the Castle Operation series. The bomb's explosive energy exceeded expectations by 2.5, reaching 15,000 kilotons due to its design flaw. The mushroom cloud grew to a height of almost 40 kilometers. High levels of radioactive fallout were exposed to the residents of adjacent atolls and as a result of the test, which contaminated a vast area. Explosion remnants were discovered in Australia, India, Japan, and Europe. 7. Castle Yankee, 1954. Castle Yankee was Operation Castle's 5th test. The explosion was the second strongest nuclear test conducted in the US, more than the potential yield of up to 10,000 kilotons. It produced 13,500 kilotons. The effect of the explosions were felt in Mexico City, which was 11,400 kilometers away 4 days after it occurred. 8. Soviet Test Number 123, 1961. One of the 57 tests carried out by the Soviet Union in 1961 was Test Number 123. The majority of these tests were carried out in the northwest Russian archipelago of Novaya Zemlya. In a 3.5-kilometer radius, the bomb's 12,500 kilotons of explosive force were enough to destroy everything. 9. Castle Romeo, 1954. It was one of several U.S. nuclear tests conducted in the Marshall Islands as part of Operation Castle. Romeo was the first test to ever be conducted on a barge in the large ocean because unexpectedly, the U.S. was running out of islands to test on. The test released an explosive energy of 11,000 kilotons, more than twice what was expected at 4,000 kilotons. 10. Mike Ivy, 1952. As part of Operation Ivy, the U.S. detonated the Mike device, the first hydrogen bomb, in 1952. Atomic bombs employ nuclear fission to provide explosive energy, but hydrogen bombs use nuclear fusion to increase their explosions. IV Mike, which weighed 63,500 kg, produced a yield of 10,400 kilotons, or the explosive force of 10.4 million tons of TNT. In comparisons to Little Boy, the bomb unleashed on Hiroshima in 1945, the explosion was 700 times more intense. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, the subscription button, and the notification bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel. Please share your thoughts about the 10 biggest nuclear explosions in history in the comments section below. Thank you.